Today I'm down at Titchwell RSPB Reserve on the North Norfolk coast in hope of finding a rare North American wader. For those of you who know me, you'll probably recognise my old faithful sweatshirt. I've owned this hideous garment for over 30 years now, but it does have sentimental value and it's brought me a fair amount of luck. So the weekend kicked off with a long drive to North Swansea, Wales on Friday. Pretty bad traffic, but we crashed out there. The following day, the remaining hour-and-a-half drive west was quite pleasant and down some of these wonderful country roads. My destination was the airfield at Dale on the Pembrokeshire coast, where a reported greater short-toed lark had been seen over the last few days. On arrival, it looked a little daunting. It was quite a barren area, as an airfield would be, and hard to know really where to start, but luckily there was a birder out there, and I made my way out to see him. And as I was approaching him, he sort of looked over at me, and I gave him the thumbs up or thumbs down, and he gave me the thumbs up, which was a very positive sign. So I got out there and he said, "Look in my scope, mate," and I took him up on that and got to see the bird straight away. So the pressure was off, as it were, but he had commitments and he had to go, and apparently so did the bird, because the bird flew off. But so a few anxious minutes later, I managed to relocate the bird, and I got some, a few photos and a little bit of video. It was at a distance and it was very windy, so I've apologised for the quality, and I've had to sort of stabilise the video, but I did get to see it well. So the greatest short-toed lark is represented throughout the Western Palearctic, sort of more in the from Spain up to through the Middle East and up as far as Western China, and they tend to winter in North Africa and down into Southern Asia. This particular bird is represented, I believe, by 8 subspecies, and the consensus is that this is Hamensis, which is found sort of, I believe, Spain and into North Africa, which does make sense because this bird is very light in colour and also like a sandy colour, and also has this rufous sort of rusty crown. Anyway, it was not just a British tick for me, it was a lifer, so it was a fantastic way to start the weekend. Today here at Titchwell, I'm going to be looking for American golden plover. It's a bird that I have actually seen out in British Columbia, but it has been seen here associating with European golden plover. So I'll keep you updated as the day progresses. So I made my way along the path to freshwater marsh and managed to find a small group of European golden plover, and as you can see here, some of them are coming out of breeding plumage. There were a few juveniles mixed in with them, but as I scanned through, I was unable to locate the American golden plover. There were different groups within the reserve, and they seem to get up and leave, and other groups come in at times, as you will see here, a small group joining. Yeah, for whatever reason, sometimes the birds were flushed, something spooked them, but and then other groups around the reserve sort of moved in and made their way, fortunately, to where I was sitting, and sort of settled down there, give me an opportunity to look through another group. I was very fortunate enough to meet Les Hollywell, very well-known birder here in the UK, and I sort of spent most of the day with him on and off, chatting and scanning through these sort of different groups that were arriving and going. And yeah, but unfortunately we weren't able to find the bird. But it was a lovely day. It was great to see the comings and goings of these wonderful birds and their different plumages, and really sort of put you to the test. The other thing that was happening is groups of knot were in with the European golden plover, and it's probably the sort of the best views I've ever had of knot feeding at close quarters. I've seen big groups of them in the past, but big flocks of them, but I've not really got to see them this close up. Also, whilst I was sort of viewing these golden plover, I was looking around the reserve, seeing different birds. There was quite a few Ruff actually. I think I counted about 19 feeding here, and it was sort of interesting and something else to sort of concentrate on whilst looking for this bird. But you know, it was a lot of hours put into it, but yeah, fortunately, right at the last knockers before I threw the towel in, I managed to get the bird. 6 hours of looking through European golden plover, but finally got the bird. I will put some video up, but it'll be terrible. It was at distance. You could see how grey this bird was compared to the European golden plover, and it's really bold white supercilium. But yeah, it was a good ending. So six hours of scanning, and finally got the bird. But yeah, rain has now stopped play, as you'll see with the clouds that were coming my way, and I'm going to be heading home. But anyway, American golden plover in the bag.